Hello and welcome to lecture number 4 of marketing chapter. In today's video we will be discussing about the functions of marketing. We have 12 unique points to discuss today. Before we get on to the video, we will be discussing a lot of brand names. We'll be dealing with a lot of brand names and company names and product names. It is purely for educational purpose. I'm not promoting any product or I'm not talking against any product or anything. I'm not a product reviewer or any of that kind. This is purely for educational purpose. So with that disclaimer, let us get on to the today's lecture. So the first thing is gathering and analyzing market information. That's the first function of marketing. To find out who are the customers, what do they want. Okay, so if I'm involved in serving other people's need, which is basically what marketing is, I should actually know what the people really need or what the people really want. It is not that I have some solution in my mind or in my hand and then I create a problem for it. Marketing should be done the other way around. First, there should be a problem, identify that problem, and then you work to find a solution for that problem. If you follow that approach, you will have a good time marketing. But if you do the other thing, that let's say that you have a solution in hand first, but then you try to create a problem for that solution, then most likely you will not do well in marketing. So the first thing is I will analyze what the customer wants, what the customer needs. How can I do? Older days, the real thing people used to do is go on to every street and every house. They will knock at the door of every house and they will ask, how many people are there? What do you want? Do you want this biscuit? Do you want this dress? Do you want this fancy item like bangles and trinkets? People ask that first in previous days. Nowadays, what they do online data mining, which is they have all your browsing data, they have your Instagram, scrolling pattern, they have your YouTube scrolling patterns. Based on that, they can profile you easily. Whether it is good or not, ethical or unethical, that's a different discussion. But how do they get information? They take the cache files of your phone and they will see what is your browsing history. They will know over the last 48 hours what were the Instagram posts that you showed extra interest. Let's say you were scrolling about power bank. Your Google search was about power bank, or you were seeing the reviews of power banks on YouTube videos. Let's say you saw some 10 to 12 videos. So the internet knows, the companies know that, okay, this person is interested in power bank. So they will start to give you a discount or extra offer with respect to power bank, so that the probability of you purchasing a power bank immediately is much high. So that's how I gather market information. And then after I gather market information, after I have enough information, I will profile each people accordingly. So this we can see on Instagram analytics or YouTube analytics. Let's say if you are into content creation, you will have an analytics page like this. I will show you my other YouTube channel where I have roughly 23,000 subscribers. I have some data like this. You see, in the last 28 days, female people have seen 38% of people who saw my channel were female, 62% of people who saw my channel were male, and then age-wise breakup is here. 18 to 24, 53% of people, 25 to 34, 40% of people. So that means I have, as a content creator, immediate information that a larger percentage of people who see my channel are less than 34 years old and more than 18 years old, pretty much 90% of the channel. So I will not be preparing content which is for older people. So that is a simple thing you can understand. And similarly, you can also have data like country-wise data. From India, I have 96% of audience. From Nepal, I have 0.4% of audience. And then spread across other countries, I have the rest of miscellaneous countries, audience come from there. So again, if I have an information like this, whenever I create the up next content, I will make sure that it is catered for the 90-95% of the audience, which is Indian people who are between the age 18 and 34. So that is how you can make marketing much better way if you have information from the market. So you can do this through survey, you can do this through data mining, and then you can do this through physical means. Politicians use the same thing. So they know what constituencies are and what type of community people are there, what age they are, what gender they are they working class people, or are they middle class people, or are they like upper middle class? So is that elite colony? So they know how each and every street will behave and what their voting patterns are, what their political leanings are. Should I give freebie now? Should I introduce welfare scheme now? So based on this, they will be able to take the next move if they have enough data about the market first. So that's the first point. Second point, marketing planning. Set the goals to be achieved. Okay. Every company needs basic goals. Every management needs basic goals. Even at the beginning of this business studies, in the chapter of under management, we saw management is about setting up a system for which there is a goal, particular goal to be achieved. So management of an IPL team is to win the championship. Management of a school will mean that they should be able to achieve the goal of making 100% pass, or let's say getting an all India rank, or getting a district topper, something like that. So you set the goal to be achieved. Some examples I have given here. To capture 10% extra market share. So if I am a company and I am, let's say, at the third or fourth place in the market, and if I capture extra 10% market share, let's say if that pushes me to second place, yes, that is a good goal for me. Next, to sell 100,000 two-wheelers. Again, two-wheeler motor companies are there. So you can have that as a monthly goal or a quarterly goal. And then to sell 1 million insurance policies. So these are all examples that you can see. So in this 1 year, I should be able to sell 1 million life insurance policies, or 1 million business insurance policies, or vehicle insurance policies. Once you set the goal, then you figure out the plans on how to achieve the same. So you will know, okay, I want to sell 100,000 two-wheelers. What is my current production capacity? I want to sell 100,000 two-wheelers in a month, but my production capacity can maximum produce 50,000 only. So I have a bottleneck straight away there. When my production capacity itself is only 50,000, I cannot aim to sell 100,000 motor vehicles in a month. So what I have to do, the first thing I have to do is to expand my production capacity first. Make sure that I can manufacture at least 120,000 vehicles in the first place, so that I can at least have them produced first, and then I can sell it in the market. So once you set the target, up next you will know what I have to do next. Should I expand the production capacity? Should I hire more people? Should I buy a new machine? So many decisions you will have to take once you set the goals first. So that entire decision making process will be part of marketing planning. Next, product designing and development. Design to be catchy, functional, cost effective, and accessible spare parts should be available. Improved performance will lead to competitive advantage. So let me explain that. Design should be catchy, functional, and cost effective, and also it should be accessible. Let us discuss each and every adjective here in detail. Let me give you some examples of catchy design. So I will take you to an old product. This is Nokia 5220. This is a product which was quite famous in 2009 and 10. Back then button phones were the normal. So I used this phone. I am showing this phone because I used this phone for a period of I think 2 to 3 years. 2009 to 2011 I think I used this phone, or maybe 2010. 2 years I used this phone. I purposefully bought this phone because of this shape. You see, back then a lot of phones will have a normal rectangle soap type design. Now when they released this phone, which is Express Music brand, and they had this trapezium shape. See, it's not a proper rectangle, you see, it's kind of a trapezium type. It was extremely catchy for me. I was so taken away by the attractiveness of this thing. Again, now you have all these iPhones and Samsung fold, 2-fold, 3-fold phones and all. But back then this was like this catchy, trendy item at that time. So this is what a catchy design will look like. Next, a design should not just be catchy, it should also be functional. Now let us see an example. Now, this is Rode shotgun mic, okay? So you can see I'm actually shooting this video through a second mic. This is the first mic and this is the second mic. Now, this mic is what exactly I'm presenting on the screen here. This mic is extremely functional, so you can attach this mic on top of a camera like this, so it sits perfectly. So you see this screw over here, the screw that you can thread here. This is what makes this design extremely functional. And you see, it does not have one extra unnecessary part in this entire mic. You plug this mic and you connect the wire into the camera, and the light automatically goes on and the mic automatically turns on. You don't have to adjust any button, you don't have to tune unless you want a particular way of thing. But once you set the designs and settings once, you just have to insert the wire, or you sometimes you don't even have to insert the wire. If the mic is already plugged onto the camera, you just have to turn on the camera and the mic automatically switches on by itself. So again, it's an extremely functional design. There is no one unnecessary thing on this design, on this mic. If you can see, again, it's a huge successful product among content creators. So that is what I mean by functional design. When I am a content creator, I am sitting in front of the camera. I want a mic to be right on top of the camera. So I don't want to keep a separate holder for that. I don't want to keep a separate tripod for that. And at the same time, I want the voice to be captured perfectly. So you can see the mic is pointed towards the speaker's direction. So it just captures the voice very perfectly. So this is what I mean by functional design. And let us talk about cost effective design. Again, for cost effective thing, I go on to the same thing you see, which I just explained. There is no one unnecessary spare part in this mic. It is extremely minimal and it is extremely well thought. So it is cost effective. See, by cost effective, I'm not saying that the Rode Video Mic Pro is a cheap one. It was almost 30,000 rupees when I bought back in 2021. So I'm not talking about price here. I'm talking about the company's perspective cost. So if I am Rode and if I make a product extremely cost effective, my profit is definitely going to be high on the units that I sell. The more I keep my design complicated, the more spare parts will be there. And when unnecessary things are being added to the product just because they look fancy, just because they look catchy, I will have the product cost getting spiked up unnecessarily, and then ultimately it will eat my profits. The more complicated the design is, the more repair complaints I will get later on in the product. They two are very directly correlated. The minimal, the functional the product is, the lesser and less repair complaints that I will have after the product is sold. And finally, let us talk about accessible spare parts. Again, you must have heard about this a lot of time before. You have some vehicles that are extremely common, let's say some Splendor, let's say some Hero Honda Passion, or some normal scooter, which is the spare parts are very much available in India. Let's say you buy a Maruti car, the spare parts are pretty much available in India. But take for example some Honda car or some other foreign made car, they will be pretty much well functioning only. But let's say some repair complication happens to that car or to that vehicle, then the mechanics will say spare parts are very difficult to get, it is very costly, so you may have to import the spare parts. Or let's say spare parts are with the manufacturer, retailers normally don't get this spare part, so it will take lots of time for you to repair it, get it repaired. So all these things make either marketing easy or marketing bad. Now before we go on to the next point, let me quickly show you how one more bad designing that can ruin the model of a company. Now you see, I think both of them are Dell laptops. This is a normal Dell laptop and this is Dell XPS. See, it's a costly laptop, it's a premium laptop. You can see from far the design looks extremely sophisticated, it looks posh, it looks minimal, all that is there. But what was the problem was, this is the power button, Touch ID and power button, and they placed it very next to backspace. So people who are very much used to press backspace when they type, most often what did they do? They ended up pressing this power button, which means either the screen got locked, the system got locked, or the restart prompt started to happen. Sometimes if you press hard enough, it automatically restarted the system. So this was a huge complaint among the users when this Dell XPS model was created. The new Dell XPS, they remodeled it. I think they placed this power button somewhere away and away from the backspace. Again, this is another example of how a bad design can ruin the experience of a product. So this is what third point, design and development. Now let us go to the next point, standardization and grading. Standardization is ensuring uniformity and consistency of output. Let's say if I am new to cooking and if I make dosa, first of all I can't make one dosa also properly, but let's say I successfully make one dosa and then I go on to make the second, go on to make the third. Three dosas will be of different size, they will be of different consistency, they will be of different texture. Some may be over fried, some may be under fried, some must not have even come out as a proper circle dosa. But compare my output with a chef who has 10 to 15 years of experience. Even if you ask them to make 100 dosas in a day, all those 100 dosas will be exactly similar. You won't be able to tell a difference between one from the next. They will have the same shape, they will have the same diameter, they will have the same texture. Pretty much they will have the same taste because of they know exactly what amount of oil they have to apply and at what time they have to turn it and take it out. So the frying will be extremely consistent. So that is what I mean by standardization. To achieve standardization through human efforts, you need extreme amount of experience. But when you appoint machines, standardization becomes extremely easy. You see all the beverages that use like Coca-Cola, Pepsi or milkshakes, they are being mass produced, they are being mass manufactured. So you cannot tell the difference between the taste of one Coca-Cola bottle versus the other because they have all been prepared in a batch and they have all been filled at the same time, filled by the same machine, filled by the same program. If you say it's a 500 ml Coke bottle, it will have exactly 500 ml with extreme 1 or 2 ml here and there difference. So that is what we mean by standardization. The output looks extremely same. Even if you keep 1 lakh units and compare one versus the other, you won't be able to tell the difference. Right, now that was standardization. What is grading? Grading is classification of products into different group based on size, weight and quality. This is mostly with respect to consumables, eatables and agricultural products. So segregating potatoes based on diameters. I worked in a food processing company where they made this potato chips. So when they procure potatoes from the farmers, they specifically tell the farmers to send only bigger size potatoes because for chips purposes we need larger size, right? So when they have some rule like potatoes of lesser than 4 centimeters or 5 centimeters diameter, they have a filtering machine, so they'll put a load of potato on that machine, so all the smaller size potatoes will get filtered out and they will be rejected immediately. So this is what we mean by grading. So you can segregate the small potatoes from the big ones. Let's say if you are into a tea company, and the leaves you can segregate based on the maturity of the leaf and the texture of the leaf, the color of the leaf. Either is it too young or is it too old. You can see by the color and the texture. The people who are experienced, tea leaf pluckers, they know it. So they will do grading accordingly. Next, packaging and labeling. This is pretty obvious. Designing and developing the primary and secondary packaging. So what is primary packaging? What is secondary packaging? So if you take toothpaste, the final paste that you apply on the toothbrush, that's the actual product. But to hold that paste, you have that primary packing, right? Whatever you press, you squeeze on. So that is primary packing. The tube, the sachet, that is primary packing. And secondary packing is the tube has a very weird shape, right? You won't say it's a conical, you won't say it's a cylindrical. It's a different shape. So it is very difficult to stack the tubes that way. So what they do, they put a cuboid packing, cardboard packing, so that it is easily geometrically stackable. So that is secondary packaging. Next, labeling. To design and develop the content, look, physicality of the label. So we see whenever we go to any FMCG product, supermarket, fast moving consumer goods product like shampoo, soaps, detergents, you open that and see a label. Next time when you buy a chips packet or buy a chocolate, see the label, see the ingredients. You see there will be some certification FSSAI, so which means the product adheres to food safety standards, and then they will say what are the ingredients, how much sugar is there, how much fat is there, all those details, how much salt is there, all the details they have to specify, and that is labeling. Next, let us talk about branding. To create product differentiation, distinguish one product from its competitors. Brand name is vital for a company's success in the long run. Now, Why do we have names in the first place? My name is Harish, your name can be Ramesh, your name can be Dinesh. Every person's name is their own brand name. Every person's name is their own brand name. So why do we keep names? So that we can identify one person from the other, or else everybody has a common noun, and that common noun is called human being. I am a human being, you are a human being, he is a human being, she is a human being. So how do you identify one person from the other? Similarly, toothpaste 1, toothpaste 2, toothpaste 3, how do you distinguish? So you keep a name for the toothpaste: Pepsodent, Sensodyne, you have, let's say, Listerine. So you have names for each and every product, so that is rememberable by the consumer. So when you go to the shop, you can tell exactly that product, okay, I want Pepsodent toothpaste, I want Sensodyne toothpaste. So that is branding. And brand name is extremely vital because we associate good or bad things with the brand. So when I say a brand name like Tata, so it automatically evokes a positive feeling. So that's the brand's goodwill, that's the brand's value. Again, if I say something CSK, or if I say Mumbai Indians, it's a brand. That brand has its own value. So if you are a hard Dhoni fan, or if you are from South India, then you are most likely a fan of CSK. You prefer to go to the matches, you prefer to buy their merchandise, you prefer to follow them on social media. A huge part of your identity and entertainment is surrounded by that brand. Your life is largely attached with that brand. So that is how, if you have better brand name, your company's success can be achieved much easily. Next, customer support services, essential for customer satisfaction and future referrals. Ideally, if you manufacture a product or if you are selling a service, the customers should not be having any problems in the future. The best customer support is the thing that they don't need a customer support. But let's say some things are unavoidable. Let's say you get a repair complaint. How fast do you address the customer? How fast do you solve the problem of a customer? Simple example. You follow a lot of people on YouTube. You comment on their videos. How many YouTubers reply to your comments? So replying to YouTubers, engaging with the audience is the basic form of customer support that you can see. A lot of content creators do not do that. Obviously, for the scale that they have, or they could be extremely influential personalities, they will have other big things to do. But when I talk about customer support, if you engage with the audience, it will look pretty differently. The audience will start to feel you in a different way. Similarly, let's say you booked a ticket for a flight trip and your plans got changed. So you call the airlines and say that I want to cancel the ticket, or I want to change the bookings. One person is not coming. Can I cancel that one person's ticket alone? How much will you refund? There are two ways the company can handle it. Either they'll make you wait for 10 minutes, or you don't even have a proper toll-free number to call them. You can find these examples if you look for your life in detail. Take broadband cases, for example. A few months back, I had a huge downtime when I had this Jio broadband. So huge problem I had. And the resolution was not at all proper. And the problem started to repeat month after month. So first of all, the primary service itself was pretty bad. And then when I started to escalate to the customer call center, I did not have a proper connecting facility. It was very difficult for them to connect with the customer care. So I went to a service center in person. There the service people did not even address my query properly. So it resulted in a huge tension for me, huge stressful period of 4 to 5 days without internet. I couldn't upload videos, I couldn't conduct online classes. It was a huge problem. Now, if a good company was there, if a good customer service was there, my issue would have been resolved within 3 hours or 4 hours or maximum 1 day. And then they would have made sure that the issue doesn't repeat in the upcoming months. But the problem was extremely repetitive, and every month there were like 3 to 4 days of downtime. So I eventually had to take a decision of discontinuing with the network and move on to some other service provider. So again, this is a simple example of customer support service. Now let's talk about pricing of product. Determines who the buyer is going to be. It is price is set based on the product or service and target consumers, economical or premium, high ticket or low ticket. Now let us talk about this. So price determines who the buyer is going to be. Let's say there is a chocolate and the chocolate is 5 rupees or the chocolate is 10 rupees. pretty much everybody can buy. Pretty much everybody can buy, at least the people who are in below middle class, who are middle class, those people can buy. So larger amount of population in the country can purchase that product. I remember the tiger biscuit used to be 3 rupees when I was young. The tiger biscuit used to be 3 rupees. Milk bikis used to be 10 rupees. It was easily accessible by a normal people. If your parent gives you 5 rupees or 10 rupees, you can buy a tiger biscuit and you can use it for 3 days, or you can use it for 2 days. So that is, again, it's a low ticket product. It's an economical version of product. But let's say you also have a dark chocolate that goes to like 400, 500 rupees. Let's take this Ferrero Rocher chocolate, right? It's a pretty premium chocolate. So not everybody, it's not a 10 rupee chocolate. So I think it costs about 400, 500, I'm not sure. But it's definitely not less than 100 rupees or 200 rupees. And it is definitely not purchasable by the middle class people or below middle class people. So that is the example I can give you with respect to pricing of product. Same product, it's a chocolate only, it's a biscuit only. 10 rupees biscuits are also there. You also have like 500 rupees biscuits. And similarly, you have dress, you can buy a shirt for 300 rupees. And let's say if you go and buy some Tommy Hilfiger or some Zara, some premium clothing brand, Armani, if you go into such designer type of shops, and same normal 300, 400 rupee shirt, not so much enhancement in quality, but those same material shirt they will be selling for 4,000, 5,000, 10x price or 100x price. The extra price we are paying for the brand value, it's for the status symbol. So that is pricing of a product. So when you are planning in marketing, you have to decide how much is going to be your price. Is it too high or is it too low? Depending on the type of product, depending on how much of profit you want, depending on how you want to position your product. If you keep it too high, it will look premium, yes, but not many are going to be able to afford. You are not going to have lots of buyers. But let's say if you keep it low price, let's say below 200, below 300, a book costing 200 or less than 200, yes, many people will be able to afford to buy, but again, it will not look so premium. Each has pros and cons. You decide what is okay for you. Next, promotion. Promotion is a persuasive tool to make the customer buy the product or service. 4 promotional tools are advertising, personal selling, publicity, and sales promotion. So I have the product, I have this distribution facility and everything, I have the infrastructure, I have made the product, I am ready to provide the service. How do I make sure that the larger market is aware of the fact that I even exist? How do I make sure that they even come to my shop? That is through promotion. You can do promotion through 4 means. One is advertising, one is personal selling, publicity, and sales promotion. Let's look at them one by one. Advertising is the classic advertising that you see on cricket matches, between daily serials that you see on TV, the YouTube advertisements, all those advertising. Personal selling is where you go to a shop, the shopkeeper will open every saree in front of you and they will show all the different designs and varieties of cloth material in front of you, and they will say this is better, this is good for you. You go to a TV shop, you go to an electronics shop, they will say this TV is better, that TV is cheap. They will say all that and try to push the product. So that is personal selling. Personal selling also means the people who come to your doorstep and sell the dictionary, they will try to sell biscuits and everything. Publicity is where people give press release. They will say that we are recruiting, we are giving this buy 2 get 1 offer. So that is publicity. We will give a press release, we are giving donation to underprivileged children. That is publicity. And then finally, sales promotion. Sales promotion is where you have this freedom sale, Independence Day sale, Republic Day sale, holiday festival season sale, Christmas sale, end of the year sale, stock clearance sale. All those things, buy 2 get 1, buy 3 get 7, all are sales promotion. Now let us go to the last 3 points: physical distribution, transportation, storage or warehousing. This is about the logistical aspects of marketing. Now you see, first part is you have to design the product, then you have to develop the product, then you have to make brand awareness, you have to make the product awareness spread among the people. So you have to create demand. Once you have done all these things, finally customer said, yes, I want a product. Send me the unit. I want a TV. I want 5 copies of book. Please let it reach me. So how do you take the product finally into customers' hands? So that is all about logistics aspect. So first is physical distribution. You have to design what is the channel, whether you go the traditional route, manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer, and then consumer, which we normally see. You have this pharma drugs, you have this shampoos, fast moving consumer goods. First it will be manufactured by the company, shampoo manufacturer company, then it goes to a wholesaler. Like in big cities, the wholesaler will have big godowns, and from wholesaler it will be distributed to retailers like supermarkets, all the final retailers, that kirana shops that you see nearby your house. And finally, as consumers, we go and buy it from the kirana shop. So that is manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer, and consumer. And then next is manufacturer, retailer, and consumer. Directly, there is no wholesaler. Take for example Amazon. You see there are lots of retailers on Amazon, Repro Books, Cloudtail, all these people, they directly take the goods from the manufacturer. So manufacturer directly will keep the goods to Cloudtail, and then directly you buy from Cloudtail. Cloudtail is the seller inside Amazon. So you go to Amazon and place an order. Cloudtail is the person who is actually the retailer of it. So that is manufacturer, retailer, and consumer. Then you have this DTC, direct to consumer. Direct to consumer is where you know the manufacturer yourself. You go to their website, place an order, directly you sell it. So for example, I have this website becomeca.com. I sell my books Substance and Form. So my students and everyone, they come to my website, place an order, I get an order information, I will directly sell it to the customer. So that is direct to consumer. So key function is warehousing. So you can choose any channel, but the key function is going to be warehousing. How big square feet I should have? Do I need a 20,000 square feet warehouse, or do I need a 10,000 square feet warehouse? So that is one thing. This warehousing point is repeated here. Size of the warehouse, special storage requirements like freezer, air conditioner, room temperature, or incubator, depending on the type of products. Selling milk and milk related beverages, you need freezer and air conditioning facility. If you are selling plain milk, it should be kept in 4 degrees Celsius or less than 4 degrees Celsius. And if you are selling any normal beverage like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, you should preferably keep it in colder temperatures if you are a retailer, especially if you are in a restaurant, so that you can serve the beverage, chilled beverage, to the consumer. And finally, we will see transportation. Physical transportation of goods from one place to another, can be within the same city or to a different country. Figure out the best mode of transportation, by road or by air, by train, by water, whichever is the best form of transportation. Again, for me, I get orders from a lot of places, different places. So I send it through my logistics partner. The goods move by road, and sometimes if I get huge order, I will send it through railway parcel. So it depends on the type of orders that I get. But let's say if I am an international author, I get orders from New Zealand or Australia. Let's say I get orders from US. In that situation, I have to either resort to an airway transport or by ship transport. Depends on the type of product that you are selling, where is your customers located. So all those things will determine the nature of transportation. So these are the functions of marketing. Pretty lengthy lecture. We saw 12 functions. We saw market information, market planning, product designing, standardizing, grading, packaging, labeling, branding, customer support, pricing, promotion, and then physical distribution. So I hope this lecture was of use to you. I ask you to adopt a curious approach. Start to see everything from a market angle, the products that you deal with, the service that you deal with, how every advertisement is designed. If you adopt that approach, this marketing chapter will be pretty enjoyable to study. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.